Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a series review of the Folk of the Air trilogy, or better yet known by its first book, The Cruel Prince. Basically, I didn't like this trilogy. It was okay. There was, to me, nothing particularly special about it. The second book was by far my least favorite since there wasn't much physical action in it. Things were not happening in the way that I would have liked. I know there was a lot of political machinations, and that's a lot of the basis of this book, but to me it just dragged on. It was not necessary. So I'm going to go into some spoilery, in-depth reasons, well, maybe not in-depth, but some spoilery reasons why I did not care for this trilogy. And the first book I will start off with is the original book, The Cruel Prince, which I gave 3 stars. It's an okay book. Basically, everyone is terrible. Everyone's shitty. They torture Jude and her sister because they're human and they're fairies, and apparently fairies are terrible. Fine, whatever. Then there's a coup in the palace. And almost the entirety of the royal family is killed. And then there's some debate up for the throne. Jude's adoptive father, Maddox, who's a redcap, is involved in it. Jude manages through deception to get Cardan on the throne. He's pissed about that. Basically, the first book. The second book, The Wicked King, which I gave 2 stars. Cardan is king. Jude is Sensual, his most trusted / quote-unquote loyal advisor. Really, she's the power behind the throne. She's the one that makes things happen since Cardan's not really inclined to do anything. Shit happens I can't remember. Jude gets hurt at one point the night before Taryn's wedding. Basically, the only action up to this point. Actual physical action up to this point. She then gets kidnapped by the Undersea. I'm sure there's stuff that happens in between these 2 plot points. I can't remember it. Cardan bargains for her safety. I think there's more machinations before Cardan offers Jude marriage to then to become Queen of Fairy. And then almost immediately afterwards, she's exiled. That's the entirety of Wicked King. So I read for the final 3rd book, The Queen of Nothing, which I gave 3 stars. Jude is in exile. Taryn comes to trade places with Jude because she's pregnant, but she killed her husband, thought she could change him. Note to ladies, this never fucking works. 9 times out of 10, he won't change because he doesn't want to change. You cannot change a person unless they want to actually change. That is just a regular note for life. Jude does it, meaning she switches places with Taryn. Cardan recognizes her, but Maddox kidnaps her, thinking she's Taryn. Shit happens in the enemy camp, which is important to the plot, but is not really interesting. Cardan and Roach break out Jude. The assassination plot against Cardan is a trick. Jude is pronounced queen. Fairies hate it. Cardan breaks crown, becomes giant snake. There's some, machinations plot in there. Jude and Cardan sleep together for the first time. It's not very detailed, so if you're squeamish about that kind of thing, don't worry. More political machinations ensue. Jude kills Snake, but Cardan's alive. Punishment doles out and everyone lives. Doesn't necessarily mean they live happily ever after, they just simply live. Nothing terribly exciting happens in this book. To me, personally. I prefer more action-driven. I don't mind political machinations, but there has to be actually, physical follow-through in this game of politics and, shit like that. It's entertaining, at least at some points. Cardan is interesting. There was another reason I did not care for The Queen of Nothing. It's because Cardan becomes kind of out of character in this book. He's been in love with Jude for so long, apparently, and he's been keeping it hidden for so long. I don't know. He's just way too lovey-dovey and not enough of the asshole that characterized him in the first 2 books, so it just felt off for me. And I don't hate romance. I quite like romance, but not when you're sacrificing your characters for it. I don't think it was the amazing book series it was hyped up to be. I think this series was overhyped, long and short of it. So thank you for watching my review, my first review of an entire series. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next video.